So in today's short video, let's talk about the concept of double entry systems. The double entry system is the basic concept that you need to have in order to understand or in order to make the financial statements properly. So basically, to understand the double entry system, the really easy way to understand is to understand the barter trade system in the old age. What used to happen is that if I want to buy a shoe from you, I would have to give you a sheep. So in order to understand the double entry system, just understand the small concept that if something is going away from you, it is always credited, and if you are receiving something, it is always debited. So in short, I would debit the shoes that I'm receiving and I would credit the sheep that I'm giving to you. So now let's incorporate the new modern system of cash based transactions, or where you have to pay for anything you have to buy. In terms of accounting, it is also very simple. If you are buying something, if I'm buying a shoe from you for $10, this means that I am now receiving shoes from you. So this means I will debit the shoes because I'm receiving it. And what is the thing that is going away from me? It is cash that I'm paying you. So I will obviously credit the cash. So the double entry would be debit the shoe and credit the cash. Let's incorporate some technicalities within this double entry that we have just generated. The technicality number one is, what is a shoe? If I am doing a business of selling shoes, this means I will buy a shoe from one country and sell it in another country. This shoe, anything based upon which I'm doing a business, is known as inventory, which I buy from one place and sell it at another place. In business world, you can't just make a double entry and say I bought a shoe and sold it and gave cash against it. You have to record it in the appropriate words. Shoe is my inventory, because in the definition of financial statements or financial accounting, this shoe is my inventory. So instead of debiting shoe, my double entry would be changed to debit inventory and credit the cash that I have paid to you. Let's incorporate another technicality within this double entry as well. Sometimes, we don't buy the shoe and pay it just right on the place where we were buying it. Instead, we pay it at a delayed time, after 30 days, after 40 days. In the business world, every single transaction, majority of the transactions work on credit basis. Credit means that you do not pay as you buy, you pay it after some time, after making that money from selling it to your customers after 30 days or 40 days. So if we want to incorporate that technicality within this double entry, this would mean that we are receiving the inventory of shoes. So we would debit the inventory still, but we are not paying you cash. We are not paying the supplier cash. So we cannot credit the cash at the moment. But we are providing a guarantee to our supplier that we will pay you in the future. So this guarantee would now be credited. This means I would credit guarantee by the X amount that I will have to pay you in the future. But in terms of accounting, you cannot credit a guarantee. There is a specific word for this guarantee if you agree to pay to the supplier in the future, which is known as payable. So you would actually credit payable by the same amount for which you bought that inventory for. So the basic understanding was buying the shoe, and now the credit was, we have come to the understanding of payable as well. Let's come towards the other side, the receivable side position, or where you actually sell to the customer. If I'm selling a shoe to the customer, my double entry would be, because I'm giving a shoe to the customer, so I would credit the shoe because that is going away from me. And what am I receiving? The cash is something that I will be receiving from my customer, so I would debit the cash by X amount. So my double entry would be debit cash, credit the shoe. But again, the technicality number one, shoe is my inventory. I cannot write down the credit side as a shoe. I have to show it as inventory going out from my company. So I would credit inventory instead of crediting the shoe. So my double entry would be the debit cash and credit the inventory that I'm giving to my customer. But again, sometimes the customer also buys from me in terms of credit period, or otherwise the customer will pay me after 30 days or 60 days or 40 days. So now let's incorporate another technicality. The customer is basically giving me a guarantee that I will pay you in the future. So instead of debiting cash, I would debit the guarantee that customer is going to pay me X amount and credit the inventory by the same amount, because always the double entries have to be of the same amount. We know this technicality. Again, the technicality is, in the terms of financial accounting, we cannot debit a guarantee or credit a guarantee, just as I told you in the payable side. So this guarantee, where we have to receive cash from the customer in the future, is known as receivable, that we are guaranteed to receive cash from our customer. So instead of debiting the guarantee, what we are going to do is we are going to change the double entry to debit receivable and credit inventory. That's it.